Hello everyone, my name is Roszipou, you can call me Rosz, you can call me Rosz, and welcome back to my channel. This time, we're gonna be working on my April bullet journal setup, which is going to be all about the DragonLi cat. A little while before, you saw a little bit of a glimpse of what I did in March, so if you are interested, be sure to click on the card that is going to appear in the left-handed corner. And with that, let's get into it. If you are new to my channel, this year I decided that my whole journal setups, or themes I should say, will all be about different cat breeds. And the cat breed that I chose for April is the Chinese Li Hua, or Li Hua Mao, or commonly known as the DragonLi cat. Before making this video, or even before choosing all the cat breeds that I'm gonna be making this year in my journal, I had no idea that this breed existed. So before I am moving on to what I'm actually doing in my journal, I thought that maybe we can go right into the cat facts so you guys can understand better the reason why I am drawing the cat like I'm drawing it. So as I was saying, the DragonLi cat is also known as a Chinese fox flower cat, and it is actually an ancient pure breed with a distinct wild appearance. The reason why it is called the Li Hua Mao, which translates to Chinese fox flower cat, like I said, it's a reference to the cat's fox head-like head and its stubby coat, which features spots that originally, when this first cat breed was discovered, it was interpreted as having a floral pattern. So for this reason, while I am, drawing the mark spots of the cat, I wanted to make it look like it's a tabby kind of coat, but also we can interpret it also as flowers. So the flower that I choose, I guess I could have gone with cherry blossom or something, because cherry blossom and pink petals are generally associated with East Asian culture. But I thought that maybe I could pick a flower that is better for this occasion. And for this reason, I decided to go with the Chinese lotus. So the pattern that you're going to be seeing in the DragonLi cat that I'm drawing is kind of reminiscent of this lotus flower. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you wondered why the coat kind of look weird, it's for this reason. And I kind of wanted to make an homemade. So for my cover page, I first started as inking down with my wrapping my micron, the line art of said cat. And before I move on to the marking, I switch to one of my Sakura brush pen to do so. And I think at some point I kind of realized I was out of ink, so I kind of switched back to another kind of brush pen. So I kind of use a lot of pens for this setup, but if you are interested in everything that I use, everything is going to be down below in the description. So another thing that was kind of weird to do, not weird, but a little bit more difficult, is exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to make it that the fur is like a tabby-like, but also golden. Because one of the characteristics of the DragonLi is that their coat, their tabby coat, it's neither orange, it's neither brown, it's more like golden, if that makes sense. And unfortunately, golden or gold is not a typical color in markers, so I try my best to recreate it. So after doing that, I wrote down Avril, which is April in French, because again, if you're new here to my channel, I am French Canadian. French is my first language. So sometimes you see me doing stuff in French, writing down stuff in French because it's more easier for me, because it is still my everyday journal. And sometimes I'm gonna be writing down in English because, you know, by the power of being bilingual, sometimes words in French are longer than they are in English. So for this reason, sometimes I use the English word because it just takes less space, if that makes sense. Oh, and I never talk about the quote that I chose. The quote that I went for is a am I gonna say it? It's a famous quote that was said by one of the leader in China, and it says, "It doesn't matter if a cat is black or white as long as it catches mice." And I thought it was like, you know, this quote is more like political, but if we remove the politic aspect to it, I thought that, you know, it was a very good reflection quote. Like, it doesn't matter what you are as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, or as long as you're happy, as long as you are doing stuff that you want to do. We can interpret it in every other way. And yeah, you know, it was perfect because it's from like a Chinese governor, and we're doing some kind of like a traditional Chinese theme for this journal. So yeah. So after I did the quote, I started working on my lotus flowers that were very hard for me to work on. I never draw this kind of flower before, so I did a lot of practice beforehand, and I still feel like right now it doesn't really look that good, but as we're progressing through the spread, you guys will see that I'm getting better and better. So moving on, we're working on my calendar setup, my calendar spread, and you can see at the bottom that I'm trying to draw, or I should say write, Li Hua Mao, which again means Chinese fox flower cat, with a bunch of little flowers and everything. This calendar setup is pretty simple. If you're going back to my other spread, you'll see that I'm pretty much doing the same setup every single month. It's just like the aesthetic that changes, if that makes sense. But you'll see that I did a more significant changes to my spread this month. I guess we'll see. So as I am writing down the dates of the month for the days, for the weekdays, because we're doing some kind of a traditional Chinese theme, I decided to write down the Chinese character that represent said day of the week. So we have, for example, the character of the moon for Monday, because again, that's how they write it in their calendar. It did definitely drive me back to when I first took Mandarin class in college. It was a very interesting class, so I was slowly remembering what was the specific step to draw every single character, and you know, it was a good throwback. So right now you're saying that like I actually did a mistake, because generally when I am doing my calendar setup, I do a Dutch door system, so I have my calendar in one side of the spread, and when we turn the Dutch door, this is where I put my gratitude, my events, and my habit trackers. But I unfortunately I draw behind this paper, so it made it so that we were seeing my memories of the month spread instead. Also, it's been a couple times that they passed by and I didn't really mention it because I was already talking about something else, but you're definitely going to be seeing Carol and Cindy once again during this whole setup. Carol more specifically, it was feeling very, very cuddly, so at some point I just stopped working and I gave him a bunch of cuddles, and it was really, really happy. Generally, whenever I work at my computer, he likes to cuddle in. When I'm doing my streams though, it's not as cuddly because I talk loudly, I react loudly to the video games I'm playing and everything. But whenever we're doing something chill like that, he always take the opportunity to just cuddle up. So after writing down my titles for my other collections, so events, gratitude, and habits, I decided to keep some drawings of cat that I did for the monthly memory spread, and I just kept it in there. But I felt like it was a little bit empty, so I just decided to draw a sleeping Chinese DragonLi cat instead. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really do too much in those spreads because I never know what kind of habits I want to do in this month, because I did this spread so much earlier in the month of March. Because good news, I was able to get back to work. I am not on sick leave anymore. I started to work back at the school that I used to work at, and I'm very happy. So I did this monthly theme, this setup before I'm going back to work. In fact, that's what I'm doing in every setup, because I'm trying to give myself the challenge to record every setup that I'm doing, post them on the internet, kind of like of a time capsule. So yeah, I'm working on this spread way more earlier than the normal people. But yeah, so because I never know what kind of habits I want to track, I always keep those spreads empty. And that's good because at the end of my setup, my favorite thing to do is just to put washi tape everywhere and stickers everywhere. So it also gives me this opportunity to, just place the decoration where I want it to be, and also take a better time to plan where I put the practical and where I put the more decorational aspect of my setup. So while I'm finishing this spread, I thought that maybe I could share more fun facts about the DragonLi cat. So as I said, this breed is actually an ancient pure breed. It is one of the oldest known cat breed. And as funny as it is, they were only, recognized as a domestic feline breed pretty recently. In fact, the breed was first shown in an event hosted by the Chinese Cat Association in 2004, and the CFA granted the breed the official recognition in 2010. So even though this breed is pretty ancient, it is somewhat like a more recent cat breed, which, a most recent known cat breed, even though it's been known for years in China. And I think it's really interesting. And we even say that this cat has direct descendants with the Chinese mountain cat, and because of its ancient root, we can track this cat breed back to the Xian dynasty. So it's pretty old. And just like their ancestors, they are very well known for their more than average intelligence. So if you're looking for a more intelligent cat, I should say, or above average cat, the DragonLi cat is perfect for you. There is even one famous DragonLi cat that was trained enough so he could go fetch the morning newspaper for his human. And that is blowing my mind, because this is dog level right there. Again, I don't have as many cat facts for this breed, because once again, it's pretty recent. only being recognized in 2010. But I'm sure if you are more interested into this breed, you can make your own research and everything. But that was all for me for all the cats fat about the DragonLi. It wasn't enough. I kind of wish I would find more, but all the research that I would do would always like end up in the same, you know, the same direction, or they were always saying the same kind of thing. But yeah, so I hope that you enjoyed those DragonLi cat facts. And for my journal, I just redid my whole memory spread. I even did a mistake because I wanted to put April memories, the character that is, but I didn't plan correctly. I thought I had enough space for 5 photo card, but photo card, what I'm talking about. Is it a K-pop album? I didn't plan it correctly for all the Polaroid pictures that I wanted to put. I wanted to put 5, but I unconsciously only draw 4 spaces. So to one space that I draw the character, I was really lucky because I draw it in pink. I was able to just, you know, put it aside, put it at the top, and because I thought it was feeling kind of empty, I also draw a little DragonLi that was like peeking, lurking behind the photos. But yeah, and I also draw a couple of like lotus petals and lotus flower. One thing that I really like doing when I was doing my lotus flower, and I guess that could also help you make them more realistic, is to make some kind of like a gradient. So the outside of the petal are a shade of more darker pink and the inside is more pale. So maybe you can do that to make your flower look a little bit more realistic. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I just make 5 spaces that I colored in so I could put my Polaroid pictures. And as I mentioned, on the left page it says memories, I think, and on the left page it says April, so memories of April. I'm not sure if it's really correct. I just type memories in Google Translate, not gonna lie. So if we have any, you know, Mandarin speaker or Cantonese speaker in the comments and wants to correct me, please go ahead, because I really don't want to write any offensive things. But I think Google Translate wouldn't lie to me for something so simple. And now we are moving to my weekly spread, and you can see one of the big change that I did already to my very non-changing setup. I tried to, instead of going for a vertical weekly spread, I'm doing more of a horizontal one. So again, I cut down all the tabs for every week of the month, because I personally work better when I have all, you know, the week already there. I don't have to do another different cute spread every week. It's already there, and they all kind of look the same, so it's easier for me to just, like, you know, turn the pages, see what I have to do next week, and etc. So it's more like visually working for me to make those cute little tabs for my weekly spread. So I decided to switch it up a little bit because I thought that vertical was limiting me, especially now going back to work. I really didn't notice that I was missing space to plan out my streams, my art, and my work at the same time, my day work, I should say, as an artist. And so I'm gonna be trying this layout this month, and we'll see about that. And I was talking a little bit about the gradient earlier that I was doing in my flowers. I tried to make the same thing in the tabs as well, so the tabs goes from lighter pink to darker pink. Again, we're back with the days of the week written in Mandarin characters. And the last one, I always separate everything in 8 boxes instead of 7, because I like to keep the 8 box as kind of like a brain dump space for me. So in Chinese character, again, please let me know if I am incorrect, because again, sometimes Google Translate can just like be wrong, but I just wrote down next week. What is going to happen next week, I don't know. Ooh, sorry, the camera was really shaky right there. Ooh, I don't know what's happening, but sorry about all the shakies. But yeah, so I wrote down next week because I like having a space to just like dump all my ideas of what is going to happen next week, or maybe later in the month, I don't know, or just something I don't want to forget. So I'm writing it there, and I also have 2 columns on the side, one for my to-do list and one for my goals of the month. So because they are not separated, they're kind of like at the same place, it's going to be easier for me to plan out my to-do list according to the goals that I set myself for the month. So for example, one of my goals is to keep a consistent schedule for my stream, while maybe in my to-do list I'm gonna be I need to put everything on my VODs on YouTube, on my gaming channel, planning out my May setup, etc. So I'm gonna be writing down everything in my to-do list according to my goals. And I don't know, I think it's a better idea to just have everything at the same place, that you can visually, like kind of like a vision board kind of thing. Because I am definitely the kind of person that always forget to look back to my previous spread, especially if I'm not using them every day. If I only look at them once a week, I am definitely gonna forget about them, and I'll be like, oh yeah, my goal was, I don't know, to drink more water. I definitely not drink enough water this month. Stuff like that. So yeah, I spiced it up the spread with again the lotus flowers and a DragonLi cat at the bottom. And now the spread is over, we can move on to my favorite thing in the world, which is putting stickers everywhere and adding some sparkles, adding some washi tapes, etc. So that is pretty much that is for me. As you can see in the tone of my voice, I'm starting to feel a little bit sick again, but not sick, just like flu kind of thing. So I think I'm just gonna let, you know, the lo-fi immerse you into this sticking session, this sticker sticking session, this washi tape session. So, you know, enjoy the music, enjoy the vibe, and if you want to stick until the end to see some more cat footage, because I always end my videos with some of my cat footage, because the cats are always around me whenever I am, you know, doing my setup. So if you want to see them, stick up until the end. And I would like to thank you so much for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Stay safe and stay pink, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye friends.